This is the Erd Tree. In the lands between, it is an icon, a beacon of the divine light of the gods. Images of trees are found everywhere in the lands between, carved into walls, on tapestries, etched in gold, on treasure chests. There's one on the key to the drawing room in the Volcano Manor, with a serpent coiled around the trunk into the branches. As I said, the Erd Tree is an icon, and as such it is prominently displayed on the icon shield. You may have missed it, but in an earlier video, The Furnace for Gold, I demonstrate how if you put both sides of the shields together, they make a heart and a crucible. In the same video, I theorize where the Realm of Shadow used to be and why it isn't there anymore. The thing about all these tree images, they are not all the Erd Tree. This tree image here, shown 4 different ways, isn't actually a tree at all. It's a symbol. It represents the Golden Bough. In this cabinet, the tree is actually golden. There are 8 figures in the Golden Bough and a crown at the top. What's interesting is that the same shaped cabinet is used for the tarnished mirror in the Round Table Hold. The figures in the Golden Bough are all of a man in long robes holding his hand up to his midsection. However, the image is not representing just one man. The man here is simply an avatar for the members of the Golden Bough, members I will headcanon the crap out of. First, we must start with the origin of all life, the Crucible. In Greek mythology, Gaia was the first god to emerge from chaos. She is the personification of the earth, mother of life, and the natural world. Now for the Golden Bough, and its lord Placidusax. In Latin, Placidus Saxum means calm rock. Placidusax is the calm in the eye of the storm. His Greek counterpart is the ruler of the Greek god Zeus. I go into more detail about the Dragon Lord in part 1 of this trilogy. Landsax is Elden Ring's Artemis, goddess of the hunt. She is the only ancient dragon whose name isn't based in Latin. Her name is a combination of 2 weapons, the lance and the sax. The sax is a long knife or short sword used by early Germanic settlers in England in the 5th century. In this historically accurate depiction of medieval soldiers of the 1980s, you can see how if you theoretically combine the lance and the sax, you get a glaive. Landsax's glaive is a little more imposing than our stalwart soldiers. Landsax is the sister of Fortisax, as Artemis is the sister of Apollo. Where you battle Landsax on the Altus Plateau, you can find the harp bow. Artemis is the goddess of the hunt, and her brother Apollo is the god of archery and music. Fortisax's name in Latin, Fortissimus Saxum, translates to mightiest boulder. As stated, Fortisax is the brother of Landsax. Apollo is the brother of Artemis. Fortisax is called the mightiest boulder stone. Apollo is the god of the sun. Both are portrayed as indomitable warriors. But Fortisax would meet his match in the War of the Ancient Dragons. He was defeated by the demigod Godwyn the Golden. Godwyn didn't just battle Fortisax with a melee weapon, smacking him repeatedly in the ankles. Godwyn, scion of the Golden Bough, brought the lightning. And Godwyn's lightning was golden. Fortisax, the ancient dragon, learned golden lightning from the mighty demigod, and the ancient dragon cult would do the same. Fortisax would later become the Lich Dragon, wielding death lighting and spreading death blight. This dark side is also a reflection of Apollo. This little cartoon demonstrates why Apollo was also called the god of plagues. At the Battle of Troy, an enraged Apollo unleashed plague arrows from his silver bow upon the Greek soldiers. This onslaught lasted for 9 days, spreading death and disease, decimating the Greek army. Let's get a closer look at these cute little camps. The Great Grandsax, Granum Saxum, means grainstone. This is an ode to Demeter, one of the most revered gods in history. Demeter is the goddess of agriculture. In ancient times, there was hardly anything more important than that. Without agriculture, you'd have famine. So Grandsax's size relates well to the importance of the Greek goddess, a goddess who's worshipped by ancient cultures before the Greek pantheon existed. Grandsax also does well to represent Demeter's wrath. Grandsax is famous for starting the war against the ancient dragons by assaulting Landel, the royal capital, raining calamity upon the city and breaching the walls, the only time the walls of the capital have ever been breached. However, Landel is enclosed by double ramparts. and the inner wall has never been breached. Here you can see the outer wall, the inner wall, and where the fortified manor is located. Gransax is in the fortified manor. She's not only in the never been breached before inner wall, she's in the walls of the city itself. How is this possible? Let's take a closer look at the great Gransax. Here you can see her lower body tucked in nice and neat within the wall that protects the manor. Here her right hand rests ever so gently on the walls of the manor. And here is Gransax represented in her human form guarding the gate to the manor with her great spear. The golden branches and leaves that envelop her statues show her status as a member of the Golden Bough. So Gransax rains calamity on the royal capital, breaches a wall that has never been breached, and then dies, for no apparent reason, with no visible injuries except a broken wing. A wound that doesn't seem inflicted, more of the great wing just broke off over time. The result of this break is the only place that Gransax unintentionally damaged the walls, where the wing would later fall. The explanation I propose is she may not be dead. She's protecting the fortified manor as a literal wall of living rock. She's been doing it so long that they built the inner walls around her. This is why they remain unbreached. Gransax has her head up high. Her hand is carefully placed on the fortified manor. She does not appear dead. A wing has broken off, but Placidusax and Baal prove this is hardly an injury that would take down a dragon as mighty as Gransax. This is an infinitely smaller ancient dragon that died in Farum Azula. It has broken into many pieces and is positioned in a way you'd expect a lifeless dragon to be. This ancient dragon is dead without a doubt. Whether she is still alive, dead, or in some sort of stasis, Gransax protects the fortified manor. Her body and gaze facing the mountain tops of the giants and Miquella's Haligtree. And from this angle, she even looks happy. Of course, I have an absurd reason for that happiness as well. She loves the viola. The music in Leyndell is beautiful, and a big part of that is the viola being played. Look at how much joy it brings her. Next up is the Dragon Communion Priestess. Floris Saxum means flower stone. Her Greek goddess counterpart is Zeus's eldest sibling, Hestia. Flower stone isn't just a translation of her name, it is the name of her hammer, the flower stone gavel that resembles an ancient flower. Florisax is found at the grand altar of Dragon Communion, standing beside its great flame. Hestia is the goddess of hearth and home. She tends the sacred flame of Mount Olympus, the same flame of the torches that Olympic athletes still carry to this day. The dragon bolt of Florisax states how she never knew love. Hestia, a virgin, never had a lover. Senesax, Senex Saxum, Latin for old man rock. Garrus is the Greek god of old age. To get to Baal, you have to get past Senesax first. A sly old geezer, the floor of the cave he's found in is covered in water. If you're standing in it, it increases the damage of his lightning attacks dramatically. But I don't think this means he's an ally of Baal's. There's more dead drakes around him than dead humans by a long shot. There's evidence that Heracles and Garrus wrestled each other, but the details have been lost with time. However, there is a very similar Norse tale where Thor, the god of thunder, wrestles Ellie, the goddess of old age. Though an elderly and frail-looking woman, try as he might, the mighty Thor could not defeat her. The moral of the story being that nobody, not even the gods, are immune to the effects of time. And one day, without exception, all will fall. Not technically part of the Golden Bough, but without her, the Golden Bough probably wouldn't exist. Grail is Rhea. The second part of this series covers the mother of all dragons and gives meaning to the flightless bird painting. The Dragon Priestess explains that Baal is the oldest and vilest of all dragons. This is true. He is both. The first, referencing him as being the oldest, is the father of the Olympians, Cronus, the king of the Titans, who ruled during the Golden Age before Zeus. Baal became a sworn enemy of the brood and his progeny became sacrifices. Cronus and his Titans were defeated by Zeus and the Olympic pantheon. They were then banished to Tartarus, a prison realm in the underworld. The other inspiration for Baal, referencing the vilest, is the monster Typhon. As Baal is the progenitor of drakes, Typhon was called the father of monsters. His offspring included Cerberus, the Hydra, and the Chimera, among others. Like Baal's challenge to the Dragon Lord Plesutosax, Typhon challenged the God King Zeus. A terrifying battle that shook the world, but in the end both challengers were defeated. Typhon was cast down into volcanic mountains. Baal's talisman raises the potency of magma. Elden Ring calls upon lore from the entire world, mythological, cultural, and religious. But the parallels between the ancient dragons and the Greek pantheon are too strong to be coincidence. I have more to say about the dread tyrant Baal in the future, and there's still two other characters that are Golden Bough candidates. One in my head canon belongs there 100%. The other, I believe, belongs there, but I need to flesh it out more. Regarding Baal and these other two, I plan to devote entire videos to each. For now, I'd like to bring this theory full circle. I originally started this series to show how there are many parallels to mythology in Elden Ring, and share my theory regarding how the Golden Lineage are descended, and therefore scions, of the Golden Bough. This is the Sun Realm shield. Often I would wonder where the Sun Realm was, or if it was even in the lands between. I believe its description holds the key. A city crowned by the sun. The ramparts of Stormveil Castle are designed to look like they have golden crowns, much like the wear upon the shield. Stormveil has the appearance of having been attacked by a large dragon on the side facing the sea. There are deep claw marks in the tower where Godric the Golden is fought, a tower reminiscent of the shield. The seat of the sun is long faded away, and in the tower a throne. And on that throne, the Golden Bough. Godwyn the Golden is a scion of the Golden Bough, and he is a martyr to destined death. A martyr dies for a purpose, and Godwyn's purpose was destined death. My point being, Godwyn died willingly. He knew the lands between had been tainted to its core, and without the natural cycle of death, it would be left to rot for eternity. So he made a pact with Ranni, and they devised a plot. And from his sacrifice, death again took root in the lands between. At the Knight's Sacred Ground in Nokron, there is a locked chest that holds two items. One is the Fingerslayer blade born of a corpse. The corpse is Godwyn's, whose mending rune brings about the age of the Duskborn, and the high treason of Nokron was Godwyn's death, not because Godwyn was murdered, but because his death was a threat to the Golden Order. The other item in the chest is a great ghost glovewort. Since times of old, large gloveworts were used to comfort heroic spirits, given in tribute to those who died the most glorious of deaths. This great glovewort was sealed with the Fingerslayer blade as a tribute to Godwyn's sacrifice. The Age of Stars and the Age of the Duskborn are both endings that stem from the plot. I don't know if the Duskborn ending was part of their plan or just an unforeseen outcome, but either way, Ranni did nothing to stop the Tarnished from going down either dark path. On the contrary, she was instrumental in both. Lastly, a final note about dragons. Ranni defeated Adula, the Glintstone dragon, and he swore a knightly oath to her. This leads me to believe that Vike, the Dragon Spear, may have defeated Landsax and earned her love, as Godwyn the Golden earned the friendship of the dread Fortisax. But this begs the question, how do you explain Grandsax? Grandsax appears to be protecting the fortified manor, not the city, nor Marika's bedchamber, nor even the Erd Tree. Who is she sworn to protect? The answer may lie with the Dragon Lord himself. Plesutosax had 5 heads. 2 were lost to Baal, but 1 was lost before that, leaving the old lord with 4. The one missing head is found in Farum Azula. It's in the room of the Godskin duo fight where you can summon Knight Bernal. So who took the head? Let's just say, theoretically of course, that you took the superhuman strength and skill of Hercules of the Badlands, and combined them with the superhuman strength and skill of Cu Chulainn of the Highlands. Well, you would probably end up with someone that personifies the Lord of the Battlefield and the father of the Golden Lineage. And if there's one thing I know in my bones about this warrior right here, he faced the Stormlord alone.